All right, this is attempt 2 at episode 5 of the podcast. We've got John from Redwire Gear here, as well as Texas Natural Disaster 2021. So we'll see if the internet holds out, and hopefully we get some decent audio in here. So with that out of the way, John, would you like to reintroduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. My name's John, and I am the owner and proprietor of Redwire Gear, which is a nylon goods design and manufacturing company that I am the CEO, CFO, and COO of. I also co-host a podcast. I'm in the National Guard, and I'm a stay-at-home dad. So I am
Sweet.
a busy dude.
Yeah, stay-at-home dad is really all you need to say to justify being busy. So everything after that's icing on top.
Yeah.
So looking at Redwire Gear stuff, if you guys are not familiar with it, it's not a huge variety of things, but what he has is pretty interesting. He's got some slings, some IFAKs, and some pouches, as well as your chest rig placard thing, the emergency management rig. Is that what it is?
Emergency management rack.
Rack. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And before we got booted off of here and brought back, we were talking about kind of where you got started with the company. And if you want to rerun that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, no worries. So the company was born out of a couple of things. The biggest push to it was a conversation I had with a friend of mine about softball, and how people never swing for the fences or really try. You know, everybody just kind of coasts through life. And I had always kind of toyed with the idea of having my own business in some way, shape, or form. I've always been kind of a gear nerd. So I was like, well, I learned how to sew. I wonder if I can still do that. So we have this long conversation. I get home that night, tell my wife, babe, I'm starting my own business. And she goes, why? And I was like, I had a conversation about softball today. And she's like, okay, that makes perfect sense. So that's where Redwire Gear came from.
Awesome. And then we were talking about
your conversation about adult.
And we were talking about your first two products.
No, go ahead.
The Mark 82 and slings, right?
Yeah. So the Mark 82 came about based loosely on the concept of the LBT. Can't remember the number one, the wire pulls.
The LBT 9022.
They were like the kind of the originators of that small of the back. There we go. So inspired the Mark 82. And then talking to some guys that were running them, they're like, yeah, it's really not all that convenient. It's a cool place to put it, but it doesn't work as well as we would like to. And that just kind of always stuck in my mind. And working as a firearms instructor, the owner of the company wanted us as the instructors to have a way to have med kits on us while we were on the firing line and, you know, further downrange from like the shade area or the loading area or whatever. So we went through a couple of iterations and fell to where it's at today. And the next product went after were rifle slings, because at the time, well, it's still really, there's three slings that people know really well. You know, you've got the Blue Force, you've got Vickers, and then you've got the Magpul, whatever iteration of it is.
Yep.
And we each had all of those, you know, and you had used them in different capacities. And we're never happy 100% with how they worked or how they fit, or, you know, after 4.5 hours of wearing a 1-inch wide sling on your neck start hurt, you know. So we sat down with our boxes of slings and through and picked out parts and pieces and ideas, and that's where the Redwire Gear convertible sling came from. So,
okay.
1.5 inches wide in the body, so it alleviates some of that pressure on the trap if you're running a kit. and then the tails are 1 inch. Convenient that all of my stock is right behind me. And then the other thing that we did with it was with the so it's 1.5 inches wide, and it's on the 1 inch end of sling, and it's easy to grab. You can't miss it. Thick winter gloves, rain, doesn't matter. So that was another thing that we had issue with some of the other slings out there, is the tabs were either the same material or they were the same width, and you could miss them, and there wasn't always a real positive grab on them. So we did a lot of little to make the sling function the way we want the sling to function.
That makes sense. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about the pull tab being the same as the sling before, and you're right. If depending on how much stuff is going on that end of the sling, having a well-defined pull tab could make a lot of difference. And so the Mark 82,
just
man, this internet is killing me. I am so sorry.
That's all right, man.
I am getting like every third word from you, and I don't know how I'm coming up on your end. But I talked to one of the guys that was watching, and he said it was terrible. So I don't know. We may have to postpone this.
Yeah, it's pretty janky on my end.
Okay. I don't want to waste any more of your time then. If you want to,
cool,
readdress, and any day that works for you, just hit me up and we'll give this another shot.
Yeah, no worries, man. We'll give you guys a couple